This is Covering the Spread, part of the FanDuel Podcast Network.
We go directly from one bizarre game to cap off Week 13 into a massive battle in the NFC North to begin Week number 14. Thursday Night Football is the Lions and the Packers. Pretty tight spread there at FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going to break down thoughts on that game. We'll go game by game across the rest of Week 14 as well, breaking down my models, spread and total predictions for every single game, and laying out my favorite bets at FanDuel Sportsbook for this week. Welcome on into Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast. My name is JimSannes. I am a managing editor for FanDuel Research, here to break down my thoughts on every NFL Week 14 game, letting you know my best bets at FanDuel Sportsbook for this week. We'll dive into all that here in just 1 second, but first, a reminder to make sure you are subscribed to Covering the Spread wherever you get your podcast. Tomorrow, talking about the college football conference championship games. Riley Thomas will join me 4 p.m. Eastern on this here YouTube page. Then up on the Covering the Spread podcast feed after that as well. We're going to talk about those key games there and Riley's favorite bets of that. NFL Week 14 best bets with Dubs Anderson is on Thursday. And of course, Austin Swain will join us on Friday talking NFL player props for Week 14 as well. To get those shows as they are posted, search for Covering the Spread wherever you get your podcasts. Hit subscribe. And if you like what you hear, leave us a 5-star rating and review as well. And of course, all these shows are now streamed live on this YouTube page. 10 a.m. Eastern for today, 4 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, and of course, the player prop show, 10 a.m. on Friday as well. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So, when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chatham, Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Let's begin things with that very fun game to kick things off on Thursday Night Football. That is the Lions and the Packers. This game is in Detroit right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Lions favored by 3.5, and the total in this game is 51.5. And that total deserves to be high based on my numbers. I got that one at 52.9. So I'm not taking the over because we're over a key number 51 here, but do think it deserves to be where it's at. And I hope that this game does live up to expectations. As far as the spread goes, I do like the Lions minus 3.5 in this game. That is minus 108 right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. And I am a bit wary of this because I've got a pretty big downgrade in for the Lions defense with all the injuries I've got heading into this game. Even with those downgrades, though, still showing value on the Lions here. I've got them favored by more than 5 points in this game. And again, that's with a downgrade to the defense. Now, that's assuming Taylor Decker plays. If Decker is not able to go, that would come down a bit, but still enough wiggle room for me to like the 3.5 here for the Lions. This offense can score points in a game script. If they do fall behind, I think they can make up ground here. They're at home in this game. And the Packers have a tendency to make some really weird mistakes on offense. So I get why it's a 3.5. I get why it's a bit light, given the defensive injuries for Detroit. Even accounting for those, I still think the Lions are a bit undervalued here. So I'm willing to bet them minus 3.5 and minus 108. Packers are a very good team that I like a lot and respect a lot, but I just think the Lions are too good, even with the defensive injuries, to be just 3.5 point favorites here with this game being in Detroit. So I'm going to lay the 3.5 with Detroit in this one. That is minus 108 at FanDuel Sportsbook for Thursday Night Football. Also liking the spread in the first Sunday game. That is the Raiders at the Buccaneers. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Bucks favored by 7. Total in this game is 44.5. And I've got an upgrade in my model for the Raiders here. Aiden O'Connell looked good against the Chiefs, and I think that he's just a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. So I have an upgrade for the Raiders offensively in there due to the fact that O'Connell, to me, is the better quarterback for this team. Despite that, I do still want to lay the 7 with the Bucks here at -110. I just think this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is playing really good football. I know that Carolina game was not their best. Baker looked a bit off in that game, did get stepped on, so it sounds like he may miss some practice during this week. Maybe that's why the spread is a bit off from where I've got it. But I've actually got the Bucks favored by 10 in this game, and I feel okay with that because I just think they're a much better team all around than the Raiders. The Buccaneers defense has played pretty poorly throughout the most of this year, but they've gotten healthier and they've improved as things have gone there. Now, I say that while acknowledging that Bryce Young was very good against them on Sunday. So maybe those improvements for the Buccaneers were a bit fluky, but I still believe in this offense. I think the defense is improving and still skeptical specifically of the Raiders defense. That's part of why I've got this total of 46.3, a bit above where it's at 44.5. Not taking that, but do see some value in the over there. But I think that this Buccaneers offense can just put up points in bunches, and this Raiders defense is still pretty vulnerable. The Chiefs did move the ball against them pretty effectively on Friday too. So I am okay laying the 7 with the Buccaneers here at -110. A bit of concern around Baker, but I do think that he should be good to go. Good to play in this game. Key matchup for the Buccaneers. They want to make the playoffs. So very okay laying the 7 with the Bucks in this one. Next game up is the Browns at the Steelers. Again, Jameis Winston, a delight to watch for sure. We've seen the total in this game go up 2 points overnight. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, that's at 43.5. Steelers favored by 6.5 in this game. I think that's about right. I've got the Steelers by 7, total at 43.8. So I'm on market across the board here, and I'm okay with that because this is a pretty fun game to watch the first time around. It was the snow game, repeat divisional matchup. We just saw them. So a lot of external factors at play here. I don't really want to get involved. So happy to just kind of ignore this one, watch it and enjoy it as someone who has had a lot of fun watching the Browns play of late. So happy to ignore Browns and Steelers. I'm pretty much on market across the board with that one. Next game up is the Jaguars at the Titans. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Titans favored by 3.5. Total in this game, 39.5. Already ruling Trevor Lawrence out. I don't think he's been officially ruled out, but there is zero chance he plays on Sunday. And with Mac Jones as the assumed starter for the Jaguars, I've got the Titans favored by 5.2. That's not a heavy enough favorite for me to actually lay the 3.5. I want that a bit heavier in order to lay it when we're not getting a key number here at 3. So a bit of value in the Titans, not enough for me to take it though. And then the total I have at 38.9. So a bit of below this number at 39.5, but again, not enough to actually bet that one. Do you think the Titans should be able to move the football here? Will Levis is what he is. He's very, very flawed, but Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is playing well. Calvin Ridley is playing better than he was earlier on this year. So would lean towards the Titans. Not going to take them as of right now. Would want that to come down to 3, or would want, something else to happen here in order to get this to actually feel good about this game. But right now, stay away from me, Jaguars and Titans with that game sitting at 3.5. Got the Panthers at the Eagles. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Eagles favored by 12.5. Total in this game is 45.5. And I've been seeing some value betting against the Eagles quite a bit recently. I am relieved to say that is no longer the case because I've got the Eagles favored by 12.2 here. So pretty much in line with market again, with it sitting at 12.5 right now. So happy to sit that one out. If I were to bet this game, would be the over 45.5 is -112. I've got this game at 47.9. A bit of concern there because the Eagles have just been so run heavy recently. Now they can put up a lot of points while doing that, but the defense playing well. Do an upgrade for them in there too. So defense is playing well. A little bit concerned about that could bring Bryce Young back down to earth. And the offense is pretty run heavy. So although I do show value in the over, probably not going to wind up taking that one unless it were to come down a point or two, which I don't think is going to happen in a game with the spread being this large. So probably a stay away from me, Panthers and Eagles, but would lean towards the over 45.5 at -112. We got a Kirk Cousins, I think, revenge game here. Assuming he does not get benched before this game. Falcons at the Vikings. Vikings favored by 4.5. Pretty heavy, 4.5 at -115. And the total in this game is 46.5. I was trembling at the idea of my model showing value in the Falcons in this game. I kind of assumed that it would because it's some way to bet them against the Broncos and against the Chargers. And that Chargers game was one of the most frustrating losses I've taken this entire year. Lucky for me, I don't have to worry about it because I've got this game Vikings minus 4.6. So right in line with market there. Total for me 46.2 and the total in this game 46.5. So luckily I could avoid this one and just not think about the Falcons for a week, which is a true blessing. So happy to set this one out. Falcons at Vikings. I am in line with market for both the spread and the total there. Next game up is the Jets at the Dolphins. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook. Dolphins there by 6.5. And the total in this game is 45.5. I do want to take the under in this game. That's at minus 112 right now, and there are a couple of factors that push me this direction. The first one is this is the slowest game on the board, according to Brandon Gadula's pace numbers. He does great work with pace over at FanDuel Research. This is going to be the slowest game. The Dolphins are a slow team. Aaron Rodgers runs that clock down to 0 pretty much every single week. They've already said he'll start this game once again. The Jets offense not really cooking as of right now. Still mathematically alive for the playoffs, as of the Dolphins, so an important game, but slow pace on both sides. The Jets offense, not elite. The Dolphins playing very well there and facing a Jets defense that has struggled a bit of late, but there is also a 12-mile-per-hour wind in this game. When you add that all up, I've actually got this game closer to 42 than 45, which allows me to take the under here, 45.5 at minus 112. As far as totals in the board for this week, this is the second best bet for me. Under 45.5, minus 112, slow paced game, high wind speeds, Jets offense scuffling right now. I'm happy to take the under here, 45.5, minus 112. I've got the spread, Dolphins minus 5.8, so a little bit of value in the Jets, but absolutely not going to take that. I took the Jets money line last week. We saw how that went, so hard pass there, just the under for me, 45.5 at minus 112. Thriller between the Saints and the Giants on tap for our next game up. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, we have got the Saints favored by 4.5. Total in this game is 40.5. I got the total a bit above that, 42.9, which is a surprise to me, given that I did downgrade the Saints offense quite a bit with no Taysom Hill. He's a playmaker. They just don't have a lot of playmakers right now. So downgraded them with no Taysom Hill out there, but still wound up showing value in the over. I think it's not a surprise given that I have the downgrade in there for Taysom Hill, but I do show a bit of value in the Giants money line. That is plus 198 right now. I've got the Giants at a bit better than that to win this game. I've got them around 38% to win this game. Their implied odds are a little bit below 34%. So a bit of value in the Giants money line. I don't really want to bet on Tommy DeVito, assuming that he's back in there for this one. So again, probably not a super enthusiastic one, but do see a bit of value in the Giants plus 198. Do see value in the over. That one kind of makes sense, I guess, when I think about it more, because downgrade for the Saints defense because they've been getting shredded recently, but then also a downgrade for the Giants defense with no Dexter Lawrence, also no Theo Johnson for the Giants offense. That's part of why I'm not super enthusiastic about this, is because they do lose Lawrence, but that downgrade for Lawrence is in there. Even with that, still showing value in the Giants money line plus 198. It is what it is. I don't really want to go there personally, but do show value there. And then some value in the over 40.5, which makes sense because both defenses here are truly horrific. Next game up is the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Massive game in the NFC West. And right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Cardinals here by 2.5. And the total in this game is 45.5. I'm actually okay with that total going up because I got this at 46.6. And honestly didn't really want to take the over anyway, given that we just saw this matchup and it was a 16-6 game. Now, this game is indoors, which does help it for sure. It's always better to have a game indoors as far as wind speed goes and stuff like that. So was a bit relieved, frankly, that I couldn't take the over when it was at 45.5. It's now to 44 or 45.5. Got it at 46.6. As far as the spread goes, I got the Cardinals favored by 3.2. I think I have a bit of value in their money line. In this one, I've got them at 61.9% to win. Their implied odds are 59.4%. So a bit of value in the Cardinals money line, but you know, it's hard to be super enthusiastic. The Seahawks defense is playing a lot better recently under Mike Macdonald. We did just see them shut down this Cardinals offense 2 weeks ago. So likely again, a stay away from me. With the Cardinals favored by 3.2 for me and the total in this game at 46.6. Next game up is easily the most confounding of the week. That is the Chicago Bears at the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Niners favored by 3.5. It's a very juicy 3.5 at -120. And the total in this game is 44.5. Obviously, no Christian McCaffrey in this game. I'm assuming that Trent Williams will not go in this one. Missed the past couple of games and now experienced a tragic death in his family. So that's pretty tough to expect Trent Williams to be able to go. Just a rough year for the Niners, both off the field and on the field. So I just kind of feel bad for them at this point. I do have the Niners favored by 6.5 in this game, but there is some rally around the flag effect when a team fires its head coach. So maybe the Bears get a bump there to try Thomas Brown. It's just a lot of injuries for this Niners team. I think that Isaac Orendo should be good enough to still give them something on the ground. But when you take out Trent Williams, that is pretty difficult as well. So I do show value in the Niners, but you're laying -120 on the 3.5. You're not getting a win on a key number of 3 as well. That's pretty tough. So it's an unenthusiastic. I'm okay with the 6.5 for the Niners in this game. If you wanted to add another spread, I guess a spread bet, I guess this could be one you would turn towards, but just a lot of factors working against the Niners, both on the field and off the field. So I'm not super enthusiastic, despite the fact I do show value in the Niners -6.5 here. Total in this game, I got a 45.1. It's a 44.5 at market, so no value from me on that. Next game up is the Bills at the Rams. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Bills favored by 4.5. Total in this game is 49.5, and I've got some value in the Rams. In this one on the money line, they are currently plus 188 to win at FanDuel Sportsbook. I've got a bit of value in that. I've got them closer to 40% to win this game. Their implied odds 34.7%. So some value in the Rams money line here, despite the fact the Bills are very, very high. They might be my highest power rated team right now. They are second behind Detroit. So model likes the Bills a lot, but the Rams have just been hyper efficient with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And when I put an upgrade in there for them, they do wind up grading out as being a value for me. So don't mind the Rams money line. Did take this myself yesterday, not a full unit for me because they are, again, only 40% to win this game. So a 60% chance I lose this bet, but do see some value in the Rams money line plus 188 just because that offense has been cooking with Puka Nacua being back. Their early down numbers are actually freaking insane since Nacua returned. So I actually did take this one with the Rams money line. Not one that I'm like going on my way to recommend, but do like it. Personally, the Rams plus 188 to win this game. I got the total at 50.9, so 49.5, very fair for me. Not going to wind up playing that one, but to take the Rams money line earlier on. The Sunday night game is the Chargers at the Chiefs. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Chiefs favored by 3.5, and the total of this game is 42.5. I've got the Chiefs favored by 4.3, so no play on the spread for me. I do want to take the over in this game, though. That is, again, 42.5. Over is -115. Now, this is kind of up in the air because Ladd McConkey may not be able to go here for the Chargers. That would be a downgrade for their offense because they just don't have a lot of playmakers out there if McConkey can't go. But this Chiefs offense has looked awesome since DeAndre Hopkins got there. I know they've had some close wins over inferior opponents with the Raiders and the Panthers, but that Raiders game, they probably should have put up a lot more than 19 points in that one. And the efficiency has been good there. Also, this Chiefs defense has been looking a bit leakier recently. Again, I mentioned Aiden O'Connell played really well on that Friday game. That's a demerit for the Chiefs defense, even though I think that O'Connell is okay. So the Chiefs defense slipping, offense still looking efficient with DeAndre Hopkins there. Massive game in the AFC West because the Chiefs, trying to lock down the 1 seed in the AFC with the Bills hot on their heels. This game means a lot to both sides. So despite the fact it is a repeat divisional matchup, it is outdoors. I still want to go with the over here, 42.5 and -115 because of the Chiefs offense looking good, the defense struggling, and still in faith in the Chargers, even if Ladd McConkey cannot go in this one. So again, taking the over there, 42.5, -115 for the Chargers and the Chiefs. Final game of the week, a weirdly fun game, I guess. That is the Bengals at the Cowboys right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Bengals are favored by 5.5. Total in this game is 50.5. I got the Bengals favored by 6.5, so not going to take the spread there with that game being kind of in no man's land. Show a bit of value in the Bengals, but not going to take that. The bet I do like here is the under. 50.5 is -115. I got this at 47. I just can't get a Cooper Rush-led game up to a 50.5 point total. I think that's frankly kind of odd. I know both defenses are bad, but the Cowboys defense has played a lot better since Micah Parsons and Deron Bland came back. So upgrade for the Cowboys defense. The Bengals, I don't know. They are what they are. The defense is bad, but will they let up enough defensively to allow this game to get to a high total at 50.5? I don't think they will. So I'm fine taking the under here. 50.5 is minus 115 for the Bengals and the Cowboys. So 5 bets I feel good enough recommending for this week. That being the first one, Bengals and Cowboys under 50.5 and minus 115. Like the Chargers and Chiefs over 42.5, also at, I believe, minus 115 there. Yes, indeed it is. I've got the Jets and Dolphins under 45.5, the Bucks minus 7, and the Lions minus 3.5 for that Thursday night game as they take on the Green Bay Packers. So overall, pretty good sampling of spreads and totals across this week 14. That is all that we have here for today. As mentioned, we'll be back with you on Thursday. We'll do the best bets of the week with Dubs Anderson. That'll be live on this YouTube page, 4 p.m. Eastern, breaking down Dubs' best bets across the biggest games across NFL Week 14. Also tomorrow, talking college football conference championship games with Riley Thomas. That is also 4 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube page. Subscribe there, turn on notifications, and leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate those of you on watching over on YouTube as always. If you got any questions for me, I am on X at JimSannes. I am also on Blue Sky at JimSannes. You can find FanDuel Research on X at FanDuel Research. Big thank you to our YouTube producer, Justin Lane, for his work on the video side of things. Thank you, Justin, as always. And thank you to everyone for tuning in for today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays. We'll talk to you once again tomorrow to break down College Football Conference Championship Week. This has been Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast.